Welcome to Talking About Stuff, the podcast where we, talk about stuff. I'm Alex.
And I'm Taylor. We have no agenda, no expertise, and no shame. Just two people with microphones filling the void with words.
Basically, we're the human version of that loading circle on your phone screen.
Exactly. Speaking of loading screens, have you ever just stared at one and wondered, what is it even doing? Like, is it solving a tiny puzzle back there or just procrastinating?
Oh, 100% procrastinating. I feel like my laptop's thinking, hold on, let me look busy so you don't shut me down.
Right? It's like the computer equivalent of shuffling papers on your desk when your boss walks by.
That's a power move, though. Did you know, back in school, I used to underline random things in my notes during class so it looked like I was paying attention?
Classic. I'd just nod a lot and furrow my brows. Like, oh yes, mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Very compelling.
Speaking of mitochondria, why was that the one science fact everyone agreed to remember? Like, did we all sign some unspoken pact?
Probably. That, and the Pythagorean theorem. But let's be real. How many triangles are we solving in our daily lives?
0. The closest I've come is cutting a sandwich diagonally.
Which, by the way, is the superior cut. No debate.
Agreed. A diagonal cut makes you feel like you're dining in a fancy cafe, even if it's just peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly. Speaking of fancy cafes, I went to one last week where they served coffee in, like, a tiny glass jar. No handle. Just vibes.
That's not a coffee cup. That's a Pinterest experiment gone wrong.
Right? I'm sitting there, trying not to burn my fingers, and I'm like, is this what enlightenment feels like?
Definitely not. If enlightenment involves third-degree burns, I'm out.
Same. You know what else I'm out on? Those restaurants where they deconstruct everything. Like, just give me a normal taco. I don't need the shell on one plate and the fillings on another.
Ah, yes, it's like, congratulations, you're now the chef. Assemble it yourself.
For real. If I wanted to cook, I wouldn't have come here in the first place.
This is why I stick to places that serve fries. You can't deconstruct fries.
Imagine, though. They'd serve you a plate with a whole potato and a bottle of oil, like, enjoy?
Honestly, at that point, just hand me a farm.
Speaking of farms, have you noticed how every influencer now wants to live on one? Like, here's me in a sundress feeding my 4 emotionally supportive chickens.
Oh, totally. They post a picture of one egg in a basket and suddenly they're a homesteader.
Meanwhile, I'm over here struggling to keep a houseplant alive.
Same. I've killed every succulent I've ever owned, and those things are supposed to thrive on neglect.
It's a talent, really. Speaking of neglect, we've totally neglected to introduce today's sponsor that doesn't exist yet.
Oh, right. Today's fake sponsor is, drumroll please, Carl's Cardboard Creations. Need furniture that doubles as a fire starter? Carl's got you covered.
Perfect for the minimalist who also happens to be a pyromaniac.
Thanks, Carl. And now back to our regularly scheduled nonsense.
Which is, oh right, we were talking about stuff.
Precisely. And that's what makes this podcast great, or terrible. Either way, you're still listening, so thanks for that.
Seriously though, if you've made it this far, you're either a dedicated fan or stuck in traffic with no other options.
Either way, we appreciate you. Be sure to tune in next time, when we'll probably discuss something equally ridiculous.
Like why cereal mascots always look so suspiciously happy.
Or why socks disappear in the wash, but only the good ones.
Until then, stay curious, stay confused, and keep talking about stuff.
See you next time, folks.